Hello and thanks for joining us on the news on Nta International. I'm Dennis Adegunloy. Let's begin with the headlines. As Federal Ministry of Agriculture adds over 1 million hectares of land to its land clearing program, Water Resources Ministry revamps integrated farm settlements project towards food sufficiency. Condemnations trail attack on Governor Otom of Benue State as Inspector General of Police orders full-scale investigation. '21 World Forestry Day, experts on need to safeguard biodiversity for sustained forest reserves. And we'll begin with agricultural matters in supporting the federal government's agricultural transformation agenda to ensure that Nigeria achieves food sufficiency. The Integrated Farm Settlements projects of the Crossroads State Basin Development Authority is to be revamped for economic growth. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Water Resources, D.D. Wilson-Jack, during a tour of the farm in Akpabuyo local government area of Cross River State, says attention will be given to the project for the development of the rural community. Udwak Etim reports.
Building a sustainable agricultural mechanism through an integrated farming system by creating jobs and ensuring food availability in Nigeria is key to economic development. Hence, the visit of the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Water Resources, to Nakanda Integrated Farm Settlement Project of the Cross River Basin Development Authority in partnership with Usierobong Farms. The Permanent Secretary's visit is to get first-hand information on activities of the Cross River Basin Development Authority and its plans for improved livelihood, especially in the rural community.
We want to assure the federal government that adequate protection will be given to the people, the investors.
The Federal Ministry of Water Resources is to partner key stakeholders while expecting to get input to see what can be done in the development of the project.
And we're looking forward to seeing how we could partner to ensure that the facilities we have seen are put to good use.
If you put a place like this and you take all those teeming youths out of the creeks to come and work, you know the state would come out better for it.
Before the inspection of the Integrated Farm Settlement Project, the Permanent Secretary was received at the headquarters of the Cross River Basin Development Authority, Calabar, where she interacted with the staff and encouraged them to be committed to their responsibilities. She was also conducted around different sections of the ministry to see the level of destruction done by the hoodlums during the 2020 end SARS protest. In Calabar, Udwak Etem, NTA.
And the Federal Ministry of Agriculture has commenced the execution of its land clearing program designed to open up more lands for crop production. More than 1 million hectares are expected to be added to areas under cultivation nationwide. Musa Baba Aliu visited a community in Niger State that is one of the beneficiaries of the federal government's project and filed in this report.
Tungangana is a community in Paikoro local government area of Niger State, 40 kilometers away from Mina, the state capital. The community is blessed with fertile land suitable for cultivation of cereals, tubers and vegetables. Community is endowed with this water body that has its source from River Kaduna. Over the years, the people use the water for only domestic purposes and sometimes fishing. But the federal government is telling them that they can utilize the water body for irrigation farming activities. 70-year-old Salihu Numa says the people of the community only engage in rainy season farming and fishing, but never believe that they can do dry season farming. The federal government has stepped in to teach the community how to utilize the water to grow more crops all year round. 140 hectares have been cleared for rice production.
The entire 417 hectares cannot support rice in totality. So about half of that land can actually support both lowland and upland rice.
Tractors, seeds and chemicals, including other farming tools, were provided by the federal government. These women are happy that they were carried along in the project, requesting for simple equipment that can handle. Traditionally, permission has to be sought from Sarkin Ruwa to avoid what the people describe as spiritual attacks from the lake. I met the Sarkin Ruwa Amadu Isa. He told me that permission has been granted, and he is also participating in the federal government program. From Tungamala in Pekoro local government area of Niger State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And as Nigeria's economic drivers continue to explore untapped resources, a multi-agency collaboration is on course towards developing a roadmap for harnessing the export potentials of hibiscus flower. Awal Salihu reports that the initiative by the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development seeks to scale up cultivation and marketing of the plant, also referred to as red gold.
Hibiscus is an important export crop that is very rich in mineral and vitamin required for improving human health, but its production is occasioned by low turnover and poor practices due to low awareness of its vast export potentials among the farming populace. Hence, the country exports only 2,000 containers of hibiscus flower yearly. This figure is not encouraging, especially now that the federal government has shifted its attention to agriculture for job creation and income generation.
To ensure that producers follow the good agricultural practices, the GAP, ensure that marketers, the packaging is done properly, and then our exports is not hindered any longer.
This meeting, attended by stakeholders from Kano, Jigawa, Bauchi, and Gombe states, is therefore to ensure the development of a policy document and a sustainable roadmap for the industry to thrive. This is in addition to exploring efforts to generate foreign exchange through awareness creation on its health benefits and industrial use.
I want to believe that most countries that reject our product will come back looking for our product.
The issue of controlling the quality of hibiscus for it to be marketable outside.
The economic values of hibiscus, according to stakeholders, if properly harnessed, will surface any agricultural produce in Nigeria in terms of foreign exchange. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
Now, 2021 International Day of Forests is commemorated with the understanding that restoring the health of forests and sustainably managing them are crucial to supporting livelihoods, mitigating climate change, safeguarding biodiversity, and reducing the risk of future pandemics. Onengie Fineface reports that the 2021 commemoration emphasizes the role forests play in building a better, healthier, and more equitable world as nations across the world strive to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic.
2021 International Day of Forests is commemorated with the understanding that restoring the health of forests and sustainably managing them are crucial to support livelihoods, mitigate climate change, safeguard biodiversity, and reduce the risk of future pandemics.
It is my hope that reforestation and projects can be seen as areas of investment, offering jobs and livelihoods at a time when they are needed most, all while protecting against future crises.
The theme for this year's celebration, Forest Restoration, A Path to Recovery and Well-being, is said to be of particular relevance as the global community builds the foundation for a sustainable recovery from the economic and social losses of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Forest restoration activities create green jobs, generate incomes, improve human health, and increase food security.
Rather than serve as sources of livelihood for people, forests in Nigeria are fast becoming haven for insurgents, bandits, and kidnappers. In addition to regulating the exploitation of forest resources, the federal government now contends with making them safe and secure for use.
And that's why we find it worrisome that forests in Nigeria have become a safe haven for all sorts of criminal activities. They have become ungoverned space and a place of reign of terror. And this is something we need to take definite steps.
There's no national park that undertakes monitoring and patrol activities without involving the Nigerian police force, without involving the Nigerian army. In some cases, we reach out to the Nigerian Air Force for area survey.
The 2021 commemoration emphasizes the role forests must play in building a better, healthier, and more equitable world as nations across the world recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. In Abuja, Nta I Fine Face, Nta News.
And joining us now in the studio, we have Mohammed Garba Boyin from the Nigeria Conservation Foundation to talk more on this issue with us. You're very welcome to Nta International Studios.
Thank you very much.
All right. In recent times, forests in Nigeria became operation theaters for kidnappers, bandits, insurgents, as you heard in that report, to such an extent that forest neighbors have resorted to bringing down trees to secure their environments.
Yeah.
How would you say we make this natural endowment of forests safe and secure for productive purposes, especially for those who depend on forests for survival?
Well, thank you very much. It's unfortunate or a pity, to have such kind of activities taking place in our forest, which is supposed to provide food, medicine, and other, commodities or products that will help us, to earn a living. But nevertheless, I think for us to get out of this problem, we need to channel resources and energy, to make surveillance and monitoring, systems of our forest reserves of other forest estate, more effective. Monitoring and surveillance these days, in fact, it can be done even remotely or physically. It's just the matter of channeling resources and then, having the commitment to do that. Another way that can also, in my opinion, can pull us out of this problem is by engaging the local communities that are living very close, to these forest areas. In the northern part of Nigeria, in each community, we, apart from, the village head, we have people that, that the system gives them provision, like to be in charge of, forest, which we call them Sarkin Daji or Sarkin Baka. We have people, there's provision for somebody who will be in charge of like farming, Sarkin Noma, and what have you. So we can engage the people in charge of, forest at the community level, and then tap in their knowledge so as to, help us in finding solution, to this problem. It is a local problem, so we need an indigenous knowledge that will address it.
Absolutely. All right. Insecurity aside, is Nigeria's nature consciousness really developed to safeguard and enhance forestry through tree planting and afforestation? If no, what would you say needs to be done?
Honestly speaking, as far as I'm concerned, that consciousness have not been developed. And this is an area that we really need to work on. We have been having tree planting campaign, for ages. And the impact, if you look at it in terms of changing the mindset of Nigerians, is nothing to write home about. It's rather small. Perhaps we need to have a different approach. And in my opinion, instead of having that campaign, which is being done on annual basis, it is ceremonial. Once it is finished, that is the end of it. You can hardly see a tree raised based on that campaign that was done. We can have in each, a committee in each community in Nigeria, which they can be given the responsibility of like educating the people in that village. And then they can be given the mandate, or rather they can be empowered with seedlings, and then say, okay, you can please go and plant, they can plant this number of seedlings, and then they will be given like the chance to be monitoring what is taking place and then reporting to any responsible agency or organization that is supposed, to handle the activity. This is another approach.
All right, and just before I let you go, how would you say that the Nigeria Conservation Foundation comes into this as the world marks Forestry Day?
Well, as far as Nigerian Conservation Foundation is concerned, this is the approach that we've been adopting, and it is yielding result. Our approach is bottom up. We collaborate and work with local communities at instances where we feel we need to do an intervention. We don't just go and do it on our own. We work with the local communities, as I've mentioned. If it is pre-planting, we give them the seedlings. They do the planting, and we also empower them to take care of the seedlings. And of course, in the area of educating the general public, we have programs which we conduct in all the 6 geopolitical zones in the country, where we tell Nigerians that yes, trees are very important, biodiversity, in fact, we need to conserve them because of some obvious reasons. And yes, even children, in schools, we have programs which we engage them. We want to inculcate, or we rather want them to grow with the attitude of conserving, resources in their mind right from the scratch.
Sure, very, very important. All right, Mohammed Garaba Boye of the Nigeria Conservation Foundation, many thanks for taking the time to share your thoughts with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well.
All right. Okay, you're on to the news on Nta International. Do stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Ntel 4G. Ntel. Live more.
Thanks for remaining with us. Now, the Buhari Media Organization, BMO, is urging Nigerians to trust President Muhammadu Buhari's decision to rehabilitate one of the nation's ailing refineries. In a statement, BMO says the $1.5 billion investment in the Port Harcourt refinery is undoubtedly a lot of money that will surely be well spent. It emphasized that the government has a track record for transparency and accountability, hence its intention to transform the hemorrhaging asset into an active production hive. It says by its size, outlay and product line, the Port Harcourt refinery can become a game changer after rehabilitation. Now, the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, Alumni Association of Nigeria, has pledged a renewed commitment towards the socio-economic development of the country with focus on the rural communities. Kenneth Nanim reports that the commitment to give back to society was the take-home for members at an event to mark the end of 2020 JICA fiscal year.
Established in Nigeria in 1977, the Japan International Cooperation Agency has been in partnership with the Nigerian government on human capital development programs. In the 2020 fiscal year, JICA Alumni Association of Nigeria rolled out series of programs for the benefit of Nigerians, especially for the rural dwellers. Though some of the activities were somehow disrupted by COVID-19 pandemic, the association is out to celebrate and evaluate performance as JICA 2020 fiscal year winds down.
We had workshops in the agricultural sector, we had workshops in the educational sector, we had workshops in the health sector. If we use any yardstick of measurement, for example, the attendance and the impact, I think we're successful.
Teachers have been taken to Japan and they have built their capacity in order to strengthen that mathematics and science education in Nigeria.
We are committed to continuing to provide these training opportunities and believe Nigeria could realize its full potential with such kind of cooperation.
Aliyu Bello and Obiyo Chukwuma are scholars under the African Business Education Initiative. They could not travel to Japan for their programs due to coronavirus pandemic, but have been participating online.
It has indeed been refreshing, the sheer amount of literature and research that the Japanese have undertaken on tropical medicine and healthcare policy for developing countries.
Other direct beneficiaries of JICA-assisted programs who shared their experiences commended the mutual cooperation and effort of both countries towards industrial and manpower development.
We come together to encourage development, cultural ties, technology.
And being a health-oriented person, if you had to work in their hospital, you must speak Japanese.
The JICA 2020 fiscal year is expected to end on the 31st of this month. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The Nigeria Governors Forum has described as barbaric and brutal the attempt on the life of Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom and his convoy. A statement by the Chairman and Governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, says the recent unprovoked attacks on some targeted individuals are unacceptable and condemnable. The forum sympathizes with the governor and people of Benue State and pledged its solidarity and commitment to uncover and prosecute the perpetrators of the heinous crime. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Police Force has ordered full investigations into the circumstances surrounding the attack and reported attempt on the life of the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, at his farm on the outskirts of Makurdi, the state capital. A statement by the force indicates that the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, condemned the incident and has equally directed the Commissioner of Police, Benue State Command, to take adequate measures towards strengthening and improving security in the state, particularly around the governor. The IGP has also directed the CP to carry out a thorough investigation into the incident and ensure the arrest and prosecution of persons indicted in the course of the investigation. Meanwhile, the IGP has ordered the immediate deployment of a team of specialized investigators from the Force Criminal Investigations Department, Abuja, to Benue State to provide additional investigative support to the Benue State Police Command. While calling for calm, the IGP has assured the people of Benue State and the country as a whole that the force will continue to do its best in stabilizing the security situation in the country. In other news, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal has called on the people of Sokoto State to accept the AstraZeneca vaccine against COVID-19 infections. Tambuwal made the call shortly after taking the jab at the Government House, Sokoto. Dalhatu Abdullahi reports.
Tambuwal was administered with the vaccine alongside his deputy, Manir Muhammad Nta I, Chief of Staff, Government House, Sokoto, and some members of the State Executive Council. The governor advised people of the state to accept the vaccine, saying that health is wealth. He stated that it is better for people to accept the vaccine to become safe instead of being helter-skelter seeking for care after being infected by the disease.
It is very important that we stay safe and secure. I believe prevention is better than cure.
Tambuwal explained that though there are some concerns about the possible reactions of the vaccine, but the available statistics indicated that its efficacy is higher than its side effect. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control has announced 112 new cases of the virus in the country. The total number of confirmed cases is now 161,651, out of which 147,775 have been treated and discharged. The death toll now stands at 2,030. Now, dealing with desertification and its attendant environmental challenges is one need-oriented research and innovation area Nigerian scientists are looking at this time. This is one problem the National Biotechnology Development Agency is seeking solutions to, as exhibited at the 2021 Technology and Innovation Expo in Abuja. Justin Bem Unyi reports on this and other innovations and inventions displayed at the expo. All right, it appears that report is not ready. We'll bring it to you in our subsequent bulletins. Former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has described the late President of Tanzania, John Magufuli, as one who acquitted himself as an African leader of great distinction to his country. In a statement by his special assistant on media, Kehinde Akinyemi, former President Obasanjo noted that the late Tanzanian president devoted his time to service his people, particularly in the area of infrastructural development, describing him as a statesman, profound thinker, tactician, and patriot. The former African Union leader remarked that Africa has lost one of its finest sons. Obasanjo prayed to God to grant the new president wisdom, courage, and fortitude as she assumes the office. Earlier, he had written to the new president to formally condole with her and the good people of Tanzania on the demise of the country's leader. Meanwhile, authorities in Tanzania have fixed Thursday, 25th of March this year for the burial of the late President John Magufuli. This has been taken to his church on Saturday and will remain there until March 21st, after which will be moved to
of the late President John Magufuli was taken to St. Peter's Catholic Church in Dar es Salaam for a special service. Mourners converged on the church to pray for the repose of his soul. The former vice president, who just stepped in as the president, was also in the church for the special prayers. After the service, reports say the body will remain in the church until March 21st, after which it will be moved to Dodoma for public viewing on the 22nd of March, before being taken to Mwanza on March 23rd. On March 24th, family members and all international and invited guests will have a chance to pay their last respects before the burial day on Thursday, 25th of March. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
All right, just before we close, let's take a look at weather prospects for Monday. Well, that concludes the news on NTA International for now. Do remember to join the NTA in the stand against rape and rapists. I'm Dennis Adigunle. Thanks for your time.